we've got quite an interesting show lined up for you today. We're going to be talking about a pretty big, if true, topic. I'm going to be presenting my analysis and my opinion on, where these implications may lead. Fair warning, it's actually also kind of a horrifying story, but on the bright side, we are not going to have the time, likely, to go through all of this today. So, if you do want the full scope of the story, don't forget to go and follow me on YouTube and Twitch, youtube.com/@VisoraOfficial, twitch.tv, youtube.com/@Visora, twitch.tv/VisoraOfficial. But, even better, we are going to have some fun as well, because we're going to tie a lot of this stuff into media, and to help us do that, we're going to have a very special guest today, appropriately playing the part of the Devil's Advocate. So, everybody, please welcome to the show, Devil's Advocate Productions.
Oh, hello. Hello, folks.
Hello. Welcome.
I am here. Thank you for having me on.
Happy to have you on. This is going to be a bit of a doozy, and honestly, my show, I think, tends to be one of the more depressing ones on this space. So it could be pretty good to have
I'm excited to learn about the terrifying nature of AI and how we're all going to live through the Terminator universe.
Well, actually, this isn't theoretically, this wouldn't be AI. This is closer to biotech, actually.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
we're making
there.
Cyborg Superman.
We are indeed. We've been for a while, actually. So, I spent a lot of time yesterday putting all of this together.
Oh my gosh.
Which, God, I love this app. But as you can see, there's a lot of interconnecting parts of this story.
What is this app? I mean, this is Charlie
Obsidian.
with the board behind him.
Basically, yeah, it's the big board. I even had to make like a little key here for us to be able to really read all of this. But if you want to know this app, Obsidian.md, it's quite a good one.
Okay.
So
I see a lot of programs now using like nodes like this. Like even my editing software, DaVinci Resolve, uses this, and I have no idea how to use it. So
it's particularly like a bitch to set up, but it's not that difficult once you actually get it set up. But the whole story here broadly is, what are we doing with biocomputer interfaces? Are we possibly doing some sussy stuff? Are we possibly doing some illegal stuff? Where could all of this lead? And I think a good place to start, considering, the biotech company that we're all probably the most familiar with being Neuralink, to jump back right to the beginning of this year, to February of 2025. Where Elon Musk and Doge intervened at the FDA, purging personnel overseeing Neuralink. Specifically, 20 FDA employees, including staff reviewing Neuralink's brain device trial, were fired from the FDA's Neurological Device Division, who had, by the way, no performance issues, and in some cases were then rehired and then fired again.
Yeah.
So that's sussy in and of itself.
That timing, like Elon getting in there, people forget that he just got to have his run of the house, basically.
He got to work
for like a few months.
I've never seen that man do a job.
Clearly knew what he was gonna do when he walked in there with his like weird college kids, big balls and whatever, and just started unplugging things and firing the people that he knew he wanted to fire. Like I'm sure his lawyers had like a list of people to like, if you get rid of these people, then you're gonna be fine when it comes to your company.
Well, the people that got fired from the Neurological Device Division of the FDA were specifically responsible for ensuring safety in biocomputer interface clinical trials, for example.
Right.
Which then led to USDA Inspector General Phyllis Fong, who was also investigating Neuralink at the time in relation to their animal trials, suggested insider activity to disable alarms before a possible covert operation. Fun fact, she also got fired later on.
I mean, unsurprising. You ever see Mike Flanagan's House of Usher on Netflix?
I have not.
It's Mike Flanagan does great horror shows. Haunting of Hill House, Haunting of Bly Manor. He did House of Usher, which was like Edgar Allan Poe stories, but all weaved into this overarching narrative of like a succession type family who like each child runs a different like healthcare industry profit thing or parties or media. And one of the storylines is about one of the kids running a heart implant like Medicare healthcare business and trying to get this hard thing and like bribing judges and bribing courts and people and getting rid of people so that
seems
literally chopping up like
here.
failed experiments monkeys to like smuggle out of the building herself. So I can only imagine what's happening.
Well, funny
in real
you
life.
mention failed monkey experiments. Actually, we're going to get into that.
Oh my God.
But actually, that ties in perfectly to this. That's the whole story here. I think it'd be important to start off by saying we've had biocomputer interfaces, like brain computer chips, since the 1990s.
Really?
The first, yes, actually. The first case of us having one of these, it's actually in the chart in here, being Kevin Warwick in 1998, implanting a chip allowing him to operate a robotic arm. Followed by Jesse Sullivan, a double amputee, in 2001, being able to control a bionic arm with just his thoughts.
Interesting. I do remember that, you know what? Like stories like this being very relevant in the 90s.
Prevalent, in 2013, under the Obama administration, we launched the BRAIN Initiative with $6 billion in funding from DARPA. To research soldier enhancements, thought-controlled drones, brain-to-brain communication for troops, and human-machine hybrid intelligence for battlefield superiority. As of 2020, this was a $10 billion industry.
I mean, I can only imagine DARPA kind of just gets whatever money it needs.
Yeah. Well, funny you should mention, because when you think about Elon Musk in May this year of 2025 declaring that he intended to scale Neuralink trials from 7 patients to 1,000 by the end of 2026, marking that a, 14,000% increase or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, with them, it's like this whole Silicon Valley shit. It's just whatever we can say to investors to move the stock right now without even thinking down the line, can we even do this? Right? We're going to promise that we can get to Mars.
For me, I think immediately of The Boys. I think of Vought.
Yeah.
I think we are a pharmaceutical company, but that's not what we, actually...
We're known for.
Exactly. That's what that puts in my head. And all of these tech companies are also military contractors.
Yeah.
We think of them as Silicon Valley tech giants, social media firms. No, they're military defense contractors. All of them are.
Yeah, and I mean, places like Boeing as well. Yeah. BCI? What's BCI?
Like brain chip interfaces.
Okay.
This is military tech. These are classified currently as a weapon. Already. Like, to export these currently, you have to go through like Congress, because the laws around it
like to literally move the parts around so that they can manufacture them and whatnot.
Well, they're considered a dual use technology. Okay. And so like it can be used for both civilian and military technology, and so it's considered especially like our exports, stuff like things that China could buy, things like chips, Chinese military civil like fusion would make it so anything that they get provided could be used as both a weapon and not, so we have to immediately already consider them as weapons.
Right, okay.
Even if they're like medical.
Right, you need some special licenses to move them around between sovereign states.
Well, again, like think about like Compound V, right?
Yeah.
Is it technically a weapon?
Like people didn't even know it existed. And then once it does exist, there's no way you can't buy it in a bodega. It's not just going to be readily available.
Do you think know this exists? That we have brain-computer interfaces already.
Yeah. I mean, you feel like even just like medical devices, like you can't go get an X-ray machine anywhere. you need some kind of license and procedure to even be able to apply how to get an X-ray machine.
Well,
So
remember that like, even on medical devices, we had RFK Jr. when he was going through his congressional hearings to get confirmed. There's a quote from him saying, "I expect most Americans to be wearing a wearable health device within 5 years." So like all of this stuff ties together. And what do you know? Neuralink's only FDA-approved U.S. trial locations are in Phoenix, Arizona, and Miami, Florida, 2 places that are right next to large ICE prisons. Now, like obviously Florida has Alligator Auschwitz, but that's not what I'm really referring to. It's Chrome Service Processing Center, which is one of their mega facilities. In Arizona, we have Eloy Detention Center, which actually, in relation to that, I have a video I want to show you just from November 6th from a congresswoman, actually. So I'll get to that in a second, but Eloy Detention Center. And then we have Florence ADX, which is a supermax prison. It's like our Gitmo, but in the country.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, before I open this, just to really tie this between ICE and Doge, in April of 2025, Todd Lyons, who is his official job title, I should have wrote that in there. By the way, I have all of the sources for this, so I can provide them if needed. But Todd Lyons
I believe you.
Yeah, fair enough. He is director of U.S. Immigration and acting director of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. So he said in April 2025 that at the Border Security Expo openly that ICE frequently worked with, or rather worked frequently with Elon Musk's Doge.
Yo, this
now
dude
you tie that.
So this guy looks like a leather handbag.
He does. He
looks terrible.
Now, you think about solitary confinement in these prisons surging from 14 days as the average in 2024 to 38 days being the average in 2025, a 271% increase. By the way, it's considered psychological torture to solitarily confine somebody for more than 15 days. And you tie that to, I don't know, something like this. Let me open this up and we can take a listen to this congresswoman because honestly, at this point alone, I'd already be convinced. Screen and share.
Yeah. So you're saying like they're gonna use prisoners, push them to a point where they would sign anything to get a break. Make them sign like consent forms to do this and then just do it.
I don't necessarily think they even have to get the consent because a lot of people right now we've been seeing since February of this year a deal between the Bureau of Prisons and the Honolulu Federal Detention Center in Hawaii having a deal that will allow them to house up to 125 ICE detainees at the Honolulu Detention Center at any given time, which, I mean, like, on that alone, it makes it quite difficult for people to access, like, family, friends, lawyers, advocates, but, I mean, it gets worse when we get into it. But the main like means of them being able to provide plausible deniability for themselves, I think, comes mostly from the length of time that these people spend in solitary. Like, it's really difficult to remember time periods when you're in solitary confinement, especially for 30 plus days at a time, 38 days. It's also kind of stuff that we did, during like shock doctrine research. And also, again, like it's Hawaii. It's so far away. Hell, right now, as of starting midnight, the Honolulu International Airport is going to get shut down.
Oh yeah,
like 40 of the major airports in the country.
Well, so I guess I'm thinking I'm the devil's advocate. So if I'm an evil administration, I would want to cover my ass. In the future, if we lose power at some point and I want to go to jail. Now, I don't think this administration has any sense to try and do that. I don't think they're planning on leaving power. I think they're wrong. I think they are going to lose, and they are going to get out of power, and it's going to happen faster than they can see it coming. So it doesn't surprise me that they're so confident, and they're just not going to even ask for permission, and just might just drag some prisoners into an operating like a fucking horror movie.
Again, it's the implications of this. If they're not doing so already, they might be soon. But listening to this is Congresswoman Yasemin Ansari talking about going to Eloy Detention Center, the one in Arizona that I cited, and trying to check in with a constituent, Yari, who is sick with leukemia, demanding that ICE release the results of her October oncology visit. ICE refused to let her see a cancer specialist for months until my office and our community pushed. It's already difficult to get anything out.
They're trying to do you have to fight on a million fronts. So
exactly, and part of the way that they're even moving these detainees to Honolulu is by moving them through several different states back and forth into multiple different prisons, so that
they're literally human trafficking people.
It's their shell companying it. Yeah, it's human trafficking. It's a shell company.
The mob is running the country. That's what's happening.
Again, this is this week.
Good morning. It's Wednesday, November 5th. I'm on my way back to the Eloy Detention Center in Arizona. I have a constituent inside Eloy named Arbella Marquez. She goes by Yari, and she has been detained since February. Yari has leukemia. She's extremely sick. I got to see her the last time I was at Eloy. And for many months, my office has been demanding that ICE allow her to see an oncologist, which they were refusing to do since she was detained originally.
Not to mention, ICE has also done surgeries on detainees already. We know that for a fact. That has been cited, been proven. They have done surgeries on detainees already.
Finally, in October, she was allowed to see an oncologist after she was vomiting blood, after she's lost over 70 pounds.
Surgeries for this Neuralink.
So many in our community have been calling
for better medical attention for her and
detainees across the country. But since her visit, when my office has asked, when her partner has asked, she has not been able to get a physical copy of her results. We know that her hemoglobin levels are very low, that she is not getting the proper medication or treatment for leukemia. So I'm on my way there now to, first of all, see.
70 pounds on its own is concentration camp level shit. On that level. But I'm going to let you play the devil's advocate. I just want to really lay this all out first, because there's so much to it. So you see that, and that connects to Eloy. We saw the solitary confinement rate go up. We see dozens of detainees moving from Florida and Arizona, transferring to FDC in Honolulu. And we see that this being a place where power and place intersect. There's weaker media scrutiny because it's off the mainland, it's remote, and they're using essentially a shell company game. The way that this has been happening, being immigration attorneys reported clients being arrested in places like California or Florida, then shuffled through 5 to 7 facilities across multiple states, then arriving in Hawaii. One was detained in Florida in May 2025, moved through Florida into Louisiana, into Arizona, into California twice, and then only arrived in Honolulu. And after they got to Honolulu, were served with immigration charges. They didn't even get served with immigration charges until they were already there.
That's crazy.
It makes it difficult to trace.
We saw, I was watching the Zateo stream from Mamdani's headquarters the night he won. Everyone were very happy that Mamdani won. But I was watching the stream, and they had Mahmoud Khalil was at the party and having a good time. But I'm like, this is one guy. This is one guy who took a senator, a congressman to go visit him in El Salvador. I think this is the guy, right? And he was scooped up by ICE early, and it was to make an example out of him. Trump is still coming after him just to be like, no, we can put anyone in jail that we want to. That's the case they want to make. And for every one of him, there's hundreds, thousands of people that you don't hear about who are getting shuffled around. They're doing this deliberately to fuck with the courts. Again, early on in the administration, I think it might have been Mahmoud's case or a different case where the person, there was a court trying to stop them from flying him down to El Salvador.
Yeah.
but he was already on the plane when they had to like wake up the judge in the middle of the night to get this order or whatever, and they were already on the plane like, we can't turn it around. It's like,
one of the reasons that we didn't want to bring him back is because Bukele was pissed at us because no one gets to leave CSOT. Like now there's someone who has like insight into what happens in there.
Yeah.
And think about that, because we've also seen a consistent like thread from ICE of they want to increase how long someone can be detained in the U.S. for anyway.
Yeah.
But like as Buncor said, I have a client that was moved through 14 separate facilities. I'm not disturbed. Like once you realize it's just Nazis, you'll just realize it's history repeating itself. Oh, I'm aware. And that's what I'm trying to like get at here, because if you really put all these pieces together, the shell game to like make it harder to trace, the isolation from family, friends, lawyers, advocates, this is a means to secretly conduct high-risk medical experiments on detainees who, if they complain later, have patchy timelines, low credibility, and by virtue of their custody status, are likely to just get ignored anyway.
I mean, so much of this is like criminal justice just being.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the prison industrial complex. I wish we had Olayemi Olurin on here to help bounce some of these ideas off what we can do to stop this, what they can actually get away with. And Buncor's here. I didn't know Buncor was a lawyer. Hi there, Buncor. We got lawyers in the chat.
Lawyer, actually,
this space.
But like in a courtroom, this would all be seen as circumstantial evidence.
Yeah.
There's no like. To be fair, everything that's red, I consider a verifiable crime. Though, like, obviously, more of this would be red if we were just doing everything the government included. I mean, like, I'm looking specifically into the corp here. But this is a quote from actually the main source that put me onto this article. A detention facility here, a shell company there, a convenient convenient absence of oversight at exactly the right moment, all aligning to enable potential abuses while maintaining plausible deniability. But like, let's take a look at motive, right?
Yeah.
So we took a look at the brain computer industry being valued at $10 billion as of 2020, the projected value being 26.
And what is let me ask, what is their pitch of like why they're even doing this at all? Aside from like super soldiers and shit.
Right here, actually. So first off, Neuralink says they are making a medical device for disabled people. That's their claim.
So like,
but let's take a look at how they're testing.
In the 90s, like being able to move remote limbs. Okay.
Exactly. Like the examples of like Kevin Warwick and Jesse Sullivan. Okay. But then you take a look at their public demonstrations, highlighting speed and performance metrics typical for gaming or combat. Test subjects or monkeys historically play video games like Pong or a shooting game, moving cursors and clicking targets at high speeds, prioritizing things like combat metrics, like improvements in reaction time and accuracy.
All right.
Also, if you tie this with things like what Germany is producing, I've covered this on my show, of the cybernetic zombified cockroach swarms that are powered by AI.
What?
Oh, you don't know about that? Yes.
We got a video.
We do, actually.
Please, I gotta see this.
I have a Reuters article, even.
Oh shit, dude.
Yeah,
I love this. I love learning so much about the scary shit they're doing in the dark. You were very good at that, so I was very excited to come on today.
Oh hell yeah! Let's see.
I need to know.
Germany cybernetic cockroaches.
I don't want to get you too off track though.
I won't. This all ties together. Like there really is no off track here.
Yeah, it's intersectional.
I'm trying to find a video that's not going to have AI audio on it.
You can mute the audio.
That's fair.
So what are these zombie cockroach swarms?
They're AI powered. They're being developed by I'll link the Reuters article.
So like
it's by Swarm Biotechnics.
Any swarm that you see in like a Avengers movie where someone has a bunch of nanobots or something like that, is that the idea? Like we could just control where this goes?
They're mostly supposed to be more aligned towards like espionage. Like here.
Because no one's gonna notice a cockroach. Okay.
Well, yeah, kind of.
Oh my God.
Yeah, cybernetic cockroaches. I read this before, just trying to get to the part where, like, in it says that. For her partner at McKinsey, of course. Of course, of course, of course. Why wouldn't they be a partner at McKinsey?
McKinsey always fucking shit up.
This is not the full article that I have on my here it is. Spy cockroaches. Sven Weisenegger, who heads the Cyber Innovation Hub at the Bundeswehr's Innovation Accelerator, talked about this. So, our biorobots based in living insects are equipped with neural stimulation sensors, secure communication modules, said CEO Stefan Wilhelm. They can be steered individually or operated in autonomous swarms.
Ooh, okay. All right. So this is, I mean, there's the Black Mirror episode with the bees. And those are robot bees.
Cyborg cockroaches equipped with specialized miniature backpacks that enable real-time data collection via cameras for experts. When I covered this, I asked the question, how long until they do this to people?
Yeah.
Well, didn't seem like it was that long.
Wow.
Because, like, that's the same thing. Like, that's military tech, that's military tech. The motive being, could it be that maybe Neuralink promised the DoD or DOW a rapid advancement, and in return the government is covertly furnishing, subjects, shielding the project?
I mean, again, probably the way this administration, it's the mob. It's the mob. They're just helping out their cronies and the people who give money. Like they're running the show.
You know who else operates like the mob? The CIA.
Yes.
And guess what the CIA likes to do? Well, they like to use shell companies, as fronts to hide government activity. You see, like, the alignment between once we knock out the oversight with Doge, then the Neuralink scales up rapidly. You see, China already being ahead of us in this. You see the lack of transparency in research. You see the outcomes, and you look at how Neuralink as a company behaves in relation to some of their rival firms, like their competitors, and it's really telling. Like their main competitors are BlackRock Neurotech, which had 20 years in human biocomputer interfaces, and they have published numerous.
Don't they own houses? What do they do?
No, that's They do everything.
They do
BlackRock
everything.
owns everything.
What are these companies?
They're a market index firm.
Oh my God, dude! I don't even know these words. It's like the Umbrella Corporation in Resident Evil. It's just everything.
Yes,
we do everything.
Literally, there's three of these. There's Vanguard, there's BlackRock, and then there's one more which I always forget the name of. Their whole strategy is buy every stock on the market, so that no matter what, graph go up.
Yeah,
I own everything.
Yeah,
that's their whole business thing. Paradromics achieved greater data channels than Neuralink's device. I don't even know what that means. Data channels, I'm assuming neural connections. And Synchron, which is building a less invasive BCI implanted via blood vessels and is backed by Gates and Bezos and has clinical trials in the US and Australia that they publish regular updates on. They
clinical
all
trials
of these,
with people.
Yes.
Okay.
The thing is, all of them do this research normally. They publish scientific papers. They do the regulatory oversight. And then you look at Neuralink, who initially registered their PRIME study trial on clinicaltrials.gov and only did that after public pressure, neglected an outdated trial page. If you go onto the trial page, there's nothing there. It's not been updated. And the updates are announced via tweet, bragging about neuron spikes or device capabilities with a graph that lacks numbers.
Right.
You look at one of the founding members of Neuralink fleeing the company in 2018, Dr. Benjamin Rappaport, Neuralink's only neurosurgeon at the time and co-founder, quitting citing safety concerns, immediately then starting a competitor, Precision Neuroscience, to pursue a, quote, safer and less invasive design.
This is exact, dude. I watched that Ocean Gate documentary on Netflix about the submarine capsule that imploded a couple years ago.
Exactly the same thing happened.
Same story. The guy was there was a company, he bought the company. There was one guy on there who was like the main, I know how this shit works. And then he kept refuting the owner's like ideas, and the owner just fired him. And he's like, all right, well then I'm leaving. I have to leave
because he was like, no, like I'm gonna commit a crime if you keep me here.
Right.
I'm the only neurosurgeon.
He was literally like, I can't in good conscience keep going with this company because you're gonna kill people, and he did.
Yeah. Yeah. By 2020, 5 out of the 8 co-founders had quit. In 2021, Max Odak, Neuralink's president and co-founder, plus several of their top engineers, quit, citing principled refusals to continue with Neuralink because they were doing unethical things and were unsafe. Like, and just this is outright.
Like Elon's whole MO is just buying companies, right? Like
Absolutely.
He never... People credit him. Oh, he's doing this brain surgery. He's building rockets. He's a savant. It's like, no, he's just buying companies. He's just had daddy's money.
He's never invented anything.
He's never invented anything except having hair plugs.
Essentially, yeah. Now, like, we're gonna, before we continue with like what actually was created, like what did the trials lead to, like what is he doing? I want to talk a bit about how they actually went about getting rid of all of the oversight, because then we're going to go into the actual like published information, and then what might be happening over in Honolulu Federal Detention Center based on this. And again, like I got my full resource list over there. So first of all, initially, Neuralink was rejected when applying for human trials. In 2022, Neuralink applied to the FDA for human trials authorization, and they said no, citing 3 reasons. 1, the risk of the implant's lithium battery overheating and possibly leaking into the patient's skull.
My God, you ever have a Tamagotchi? Like, or a wristwatch? Like, those things can get hot.
Yeah, do you know what unethical even means in this case? Like, these are turbo-autistic, engineer-brained business boys. Like, for them to be like, yeah, no, that's too far for me, it really does have to cross quite a lot of lines. The possibility of a tiny electrode wire migrating within the brain and then causing brain damage. And then the final reason they cited was, how do you get rid of this without causing brain damage? Which even Neuralink admitted that they did not know the answer to at the time when asking for permissions.
How do you take it out? Yeah, well, we didn't think that far.
Yeah, I mean, that's literally their answer.
You can tell. You can tell. Just like, again, Tesla with another company that he bought. We're doing autonomous vehicles, and we're just going to test it out in the public. Now. Yeah, we're the test subjects. Like, we are. It's fucked up. It's fucked up.
And they want to do this with medicine too. Remember, just this week we saw them talking about like, well, we should make it so that we do our clinical trials after it's available to the public.
Just like let people take it and see what happens.
Essentially, yeah.
Right.
We see in 2024, the SEC opened an investigation into Neuralink, likely about Musk's claims to investors about whether like the tech was misleading. Or at that time, we had USDA Inspector General Phyllis Fong, the same one who rang the alarm about like the potential for disabling alarms before a covert operation. Same USDA Inspector General begins actively investigating Neuralink for animal welfare violations. In December of 2024, the FDA's inspectors cite Neuralink's California animal facility for objectionable conditions in Congress. Then we get to the big day, January 20th, 2025. Donald Trump appoints Elon Musk to the new Department of Government Efficiency.
The fact that he got the name of Doge is crazy, dude.
I know.
It's so insane. It's ridiculous. I wish I still had my Dogecoin by that time. I did buy into it in 2022 with the whole GameStop thing. I wish I held on to it because it did spike that day.
It did.
That's probably the last time it'll ever spike.
Yeah, probably. I mean, again, the only crypto that's worth anything other than stealing from people is Monero. So that's the only one worth a damn. But on January 27th, 2025, on top of the 20 people that were fired in February that were directly investigating Neuralink, we fired 17 inspectors general across different agencies, including Phyllis Fong from the USDA, who refused to halt Neuralink probe, had to get literally dragged out of the building by security. I remember covering this on stream at the time. You know what? Like, after all of this, I can be like easily picturing why Phyllis Fong had to get dragged out by security and not leave the investigation that they were conducting into this. I could see why. Then we had the 20 employees purged, along with Health and Human Services, who heads the FDA, like they're above the FDA, cutting 3,500 jobs.
Yeah, I mean, they just slashed and slashed. I'm sure they all had grudges. I'm sure lawyers pointed them towards, people they didn't like or whatever. And just a lot of innocent people who, well, they're all innocent people, but a lot of people who they were just like, I don't know, we just want to get rid of like government employees to make it easier for us to do whatever we want. They
they literally ran on that platform.
Yeah. That's what Republicans
That's literally the platform that they ran on.
Dismantle the government.
And they did. And that resulted in investigations directly relating to this dying, SEC probe dying, the FDA citation dying, the animal welfare probe dying. Hey, remember when before Election Day, Elon did that interview with Tucker Carlson where he was like, if Kamala wins, I'm definitely going to prison? I wonder if maybe... Yeah, you don't know about that?
I don't, but I did see Bannon just today say
the exact thing.
The exact same thing. If we lose in the midterms and we lose in 2028, some in this room are going to prison, myself included.
Here is the clip of Tucker Carlson and Elon from before the election of them saying the same thing. There are we.
He loses, man. What? You're fucked, dude.
I'm fucked.
I mean,
if he loses, I'm fucked.
It does seem that way. You can't just be like,
I'm like, how long do you think my prison sentence is going to be? Do you think? Will I see my children? I don't know.
Because it's not like you can say, well, yeah, I maxed out to him, but, I get...
I have no plausible deniability. No, and I've been trashing Kamala nonstop.
Oh, I know.
Like, they just opened it.
They're and they couch it in, oh, we're joking, or oh, this is what they would do to us. If black people had it their way, they would enslave whites. We can't let them ever get any.
They think that way because
that's what they want to do.
Exactly, they can't comprehend anything else. So before we get to my favorite part over here, actually, I guess we did get through the whole graph. I mean, I'm not going to go into like the whole sources of it all. You guys are going to have to follow me on my stream for that one, but we're going to get to finish it. So after all of that, after we got rid of all of the regulatory agencies, well, actually, before that, in 2023, the FDA approved Neuralink for human trials. We don't know why, because Neuralink did not publish any new safety data or announce any major fixes to the highlighted issues from the FDA's rejection just a year prior. This was under Biden.
Yeah, interesting. That both 2 years under Biden, they applied, got rejected, and then applied and got approved.
Yes. Yes.
What changed?
And the FDA gave no public detailed explanations as to why, neither did Neuralink. The assumption being that there was something satisfied behind closed doors. Oh, I did see you also linked the Bannon video. I'll show that after this one, because we don't know. But like the thing is, this already all suggests that Elon had a lot more influence before than we may have thought.
Oh, I think so. I mean, he was maxing out the donations. He was doing whatever he could. He bought Twitter.
Remember,
brought
exactly,
fucking
yeah.
Twitter
People always talk about how much, like, the 250 million. No, add $46 billion to that, to him buying the election. Also, to be fair, the Saudis did front him half that.
Oh,
so.
yeah.
But we had our first human trial in January of 2024. This was Nolan J. Arbaugh, a 29-year-old quadriplegic who, deep NVIDIA, true, who first received the implant in 2024. Elon Musk announced it on Twitter and then tweeted patient progress. Talked about how like the patient was doing well, detected neuron spikes. By February of 2024, the patient could control a computer cursor by thought. In May of 2024, then Bloomberg broke the story, revealing 85% of the electrode threads in Arbaugh's implant had detached from the targeted brain tissue soon after surgery. So, like, it was just sitting there loose. They fixed this, quote unquote, with a software fix. They just kind of amplified the signal and let it stay there. The hardware issue remained unresolved, a majority of the electrodes not functioning as intended. Meanwhile, by the way, Arbaugh's earlier social media posts were deleted following this, suggesting that, maybe Neuralink or Arbaugh, under their advice, removed any evidence of any initial difficulties from public view. Specifically, even as we go on, all of the other patients that received Neuralink implants created Twitter accounts either the same day or like the day after, all with like these really weird names that all have numbers in them. Number 4 being the weirdest of them all because there's like no publicly available information on Neuralink patient 4. We know for a fact that there's 17 people with Neuralink in them. But if you search for Neuralink patient 4, it says that there isn't one. But we know that there's 17, so there has to be a 4th one.
Right.
You don't just, you can't just jump over.
And they never
that.
got around to the answer of how do you take it out. Because there's a situation where like, it like came loose.
That's why they had to do this.
Yeah, we have to just boost the signal because we can't take it out. That's fucking crazy. It's crazy people signed up for this though.
Then claimed that patients didn't have like the thread retraction issue after modifying the surgical technique, keeping the implant closer to the surface and reducing brain motion. But we only have Neuralink's word for this. We have no independent verification. We have no published adverse events report. We have no studies, like none of that. Nothing. We don't know any of that. But Neuralink nearly lost its first patient's implant functionality, quietly solved it in a half-ass measure way, and then sanitized the narrative to prevent smooth sailing for later patients. I think that alone, I would consider a crime, like in and of itself.
Yeah, I mean, definitely it's again, they can't even take it out. They can't even fix a problem. There's a problem with it.
By their own admission. And after that, after like that first debacle and not fixing it, we then see like another new patient. In April 2025, first new patient at the new Miami site was implanted. It was a paralyzed U.S. military veteran named RJ. And RJ's story is fucking tragic because it turns out just like 6 months after he got his implant, he is incredibly suicidal and does like no will to function. So, but regardless of that, by August and September, Neuralink had implanted 2 patients in Canada. So now they had gone international. Yeah. And by October, we had implanted our first UK patient, Paul. I claimed 17. By November, it is 12 to 13 people have been implanted across 3 countries. Remember, the initial goal is 1,000 people by the end of 2026.
So you got to imagine companies like this kind of just ask any country, all countries, can we do this somewhere in your country? Or do you have patients that want this? And how much transparency do we need? Because now I'm thinking 12, 13 patients that we know of from UK, Canada, and the United States. There's countries that be like, yeah, sure.
When you internationalize it, actually makes it easier to hide that information.
I'm sure.
Because like each of these countries, in fact, both like Canada and the UK, will have stricter reporting requirements. However, because this is a cross-border study, some of that data might be processed inside the US where, like there's less of a stringent requirement. They could fly out that patient to a US facility for an operation, which then would be in the US, and like, sure, like maybe there's some reporting requirements to like the government, but not the media in that case. It gets much, much, much easier to, well, it's the same thing as doing what they did with the people, like they were moving from Chrome processing facility in Florida, Eloy detention, Florence ADX, into Honolulu. It's the shell game thing.
Building another like giant prison for like homeless people, because they're suggesting now like
they are doing
homeless
that,
people need to get the help they need, quote unquote.
They are doing that.
And then
they also promised that there would be doctors and medical staff on site at those places. And it turns out, by the way, guess who turned, like the 125 ICE detainees that get held at Honolulu, guess what increases your likelihood of getting transferred or maybe even put in solitary? Well, it's having health issues. It's having complaints. Like that stuff makes it more likely that you get put into this. And like before we get into the prison side of it, I just want to talk about the monkeys, because in 2022 we had the animal trial atrocities take place. A whistleblower complaint by the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine exposed Neuralink's animal trials at UC Davis between 2017 and 2020, resulting in 15 out of 23 of the monkeys dying, which is a 65% mortality rate, which is
not good. Not
high.
Good for a medical
trial. Neuralink publicly acknowledging 8 of the monkey deaths, blaming surgical complications, device failures, and infections. This then led to 9 violations from the Animal Welfare Act being cited. The monkeys suffered infections from implants that some mutilated themselves. They were missing fingers, possibly from distress, uncontrollable vomiting, seizures, culminating in euthanasia or death. Now, here's what I want you to keep in your head right here, is these neurological symptoms. The uncontrollable vomiting, the seizures, the neurological stuff. And then when we jump over to the prisons
I fucking hate animal abuse, dude. I fucking hate it.
As you should. It's demonic. I mean, I just hate these people.
Yeah, yes. But it always gets me too, like, you're trying to rush something, but don't you want it to work? Like, again, the people, the guy at Neuralink who quit, like, he wants it to work.
He wants it to work because he wants to actually do this. He's making this. That guy, Benjamin Rappaport and all them, he's making the medical device for disabled people.
Right.
They're not.
No,
they're
making... just trying to get shareholder money, it seems. That's the whole game.
Well, also, I really do think that there is a motive between Neuralink and the Department of War and the Pentagon, because China is ahead of us in brain-computer interfaces. We do want super soldiers, and I mean, like, these are defense contractors. Elon is a defense contractor. Yeah. The homeless camp is the first EXT camp, mark my words.
I mean, Jet said it earlier. Tracks. They want to make slaves that they can control with remote controls. Like I don't doubt that. Like that
is.
They want like what's that movie?
We're
Get Out.
There.
They want Get Out.
We're already there. We can already do this, but with social media, this is full control. Remember, on top of that, like I've talked about at the very least in relation to the Tylenol thing. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's about Tylenol. I think that's about mapping out autistic people's brains for responses. We can mind control you. We know how to brainwash you. We've known how to do that since the 70s.
Yeah,
we don't know how to predict behavior. We do know that to a great extent, but we don't know how to predict behavior in stress, in high-risk scenarios. And if you're trying to map that out and you're missing a lot of data, you know whose data is really helpful? It's neurodivergent people's data. in that. And that also goes into the homeless camps, actually, because part of the reason why they're targeting the homeless is their claim is mental illness, blah, 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 yada, yada. Like, all of this ties in together. There's not a single bit of this that isn't connected. Unironically, I'm doing the QAnon thing. Everything's connected.
I mean,
because
you're
QAnon's real now.
You're right. I mean,
it was every accusation's a confession.
Government's controlled by a fucking human trafficking pedophilic mob. That's what they are. It's Capone in them. Like they're marrying 13-year-olds. Like this is
maybe they're not, going.
They just never
stopped.
Heads. They just never stopped being like fucking gangsters. Like they just legalized it. That's all that happened.
Donald Trump loves to talk about Al Capone.
Of
That's
course.
his favorite thing. Also, he was famously friends with multiple New York mobsters.
Yeah,
multiple of them famously.
They just legalize bribery, legalize all these. We'll relax the regulations on Elon's pet projects that he wants to do. He needs test subject. Let's round up the homeless.
Again, like even that fuck Trump. Biden approved it. Biden's FDA approved it after also saying no to it.
Yeah, we'll get a piece of pie and like it'll help some people down the line. That's how Democrats. And then you have
Kamala Harris going on television this week being like, "Oh, we should have invited Elon Musk to the White House. It was a mistake that Biden didn't do that."
Ridiculous.
Like really? Really? Yeah, ridiculous. Honestly, exactly. But you see, again, like the scaling of Neuralink, you see Neuralink's only FDA-approved U.S. trial locations being near ICE facilities, like the Phoenix Barrows Neurological Institute. You see the coinciding solitary confinement time surging from 14 days to 38 on average, right around when Neuralink production ramps up. You see Todd Lyons talking about ICE working with Elon Musk's Doge, and then mid-2025, you see dozens of detainees from Florida and Arizona transferred to, FTC. But forget FTC. In the Chrome processing facility in Florida, between December 2024 and February 2025, we see 3 detainees die, each involving neurological crisis, seizures, brain hemorrhages. One of these being Maxim Chernyuk, a 44-year-old Ukrainian asylum seeker with no prior health issues who died of a brain hemorrhage 16 days after arriving at Rome. Now, the dying of a brain hemorrhage with no prior medical issues really does kind of make me think of the monkeys.
Yeah,
the uncontrollable vomiting, seizures.
Now, devil's advocate. It's a prison. Could have absolutely gotten beat the shit out of, or tripped, or a guard, or whatever. But
well, I mean, to be fair, you shouldn't be averaging 1 detainee death a month as a prison anyway.
Of course. But yes, that is. I mean, that immediately made me think. You ever see the movie Cube? Horror movie series Cube.
No, I'm not.
They immediately like the whole thing with these movies is that you don't know who built the prison. It's just a prison that exists. People wake up in it. They don't know how they got there or why. But then over the course of the movie, we get some more character moments. A lot of the times, there's 3 movies. There's always like a political dissident in there. There's always like a cop or authority figure in there. Someone who like worked for the system. And maybe they just needed to get rid of evidence or whatever. But like this is Cube territory. This is territory.
This is the torment matrix, as Buncor would call it. Look, so like based on all of that, right? The best chance is they're trying to do what I just laid out. Yeah. The worst chance is we're already doing illegal human experimentation on detainees. I'd also like to remind everybody that we've had, 1,200 detainees missing from Alligator Auschwitz. I've not seen a single detention center that has women in it.
Or even the kids from the first Trump administration.
Yep, don't know where they are either. Still, again, though, I've not seen one woman that ICE has arrested in any facility at all since the beginning of this. So, best case, we're rapidly on our way to this, and they're very, very much motivated to do so.
Yeah. No, I mean, again, I really think this is because, like you're saying, the people who really want to use this as a tool to benefit humanity and like a step forward for everyone, they're quitting these companies.
Yeah.
And if not, again, you're saying like the ethics already are like questionable for like the good people in this type of field. To know that
I wouldn't say so, because like BCI interfaces, there are good people working on this kind of stuff. It's just when you talk about like hyper autistic engineers that work for tech companies in America, they tend to have good intentions, but they tend to like not think about the rest of that. Like that's someone else's job.
They're thinking
and
about
no
like
one has that job.
Good thing, not like, oh, this person like didn't make a choice. Like
it's just the implications here are terrifying.
It's about
I'm just asking questions, like
we're asking questions on the internet. Are we not allowed to do that?
I'm sorry, you were meant to play devil's advocate, but I guess I was just too convincing.
I'm just learning, man. This is really cool. I mean, it's fucking terrifying, but I devil's advocate. It would be, look, I don't even like because I don't even like the idea of machinery in your head. Again, we have pacemakers, we have things, false limbs, for people who's lost limbs. We have, like you're saying, like these bioengineering side to our healthcare in the year of our Lord 2025, where we know how to like help people and to live longer and live better lives, better quality of life. If there is something that can be done for people, Alzheimer's patients or brain diseases that we can't fucking do anything for now, great. But I think there's people who really want to try and do that, and there's people, and then, gradations in the middle, but then there's people like Musk who are just like, I promised that we'd get to Mars like 10 years ago.
Yeah, well,
we're never going to Mars.
Erase that memory from your head outright, so that you don't ever have to make fun of him for it again.
Like they wish, and I really think you're right. Like long-term goal, if Elon gets what he wants, he'd be able to like erase the memory of you thinking he's a loser, and that's every fucking incel weasel dork's goal is to be able to convince everybody that they're cool, or program it into you. But
this
I think
right
in
here,
the short term, the investors are just like, fuck it, we'll make money.
We'll
just make money making big promises.
They are. So this right here, this is one of the versions of a graph like this I've made. I've made a different graph in the past in relation to the broader surveillance economy. Here that is. That's a different map altogether. And it's the same ideas. It's the same concepts. It's the same, all of this ties together. There is nothing disconnected from anything else. This right here being the bottom to up scaling of, like payment processors, your identity, your biometric data, moving up through like your city's cameras, your real-time traffic monitoring, your facial recognition cameras, your license plate cameras, video analytics, going into like enterprise data, school children data, that's all being
teach me a little bit about that, because like I just know, and this is me thinking like, oh, I know what's going on, is I know that like our IP addresses, everyone in my household, IP addresses talk to each other, and they all talk to the IP addresses of everyone else in the building and on my block and whatever in the neighborhood. So it knows where I am. It knows what I'm buying, what I'm looking at, what the people in my neighborhood are looking at and watching.
It literally knows like who's in your vicinity at any given time.
Yeah.
Even if your phone is turned off, your phone will still ping other devices in the area. That's why, like, you'll often get like an ad on like social media after talking about a friend with something, because like we often think they're listening to you. No, what it is your friend probably got that ad first, and then now they're in your vicinity, and so now you're getting served that ad.
Like,
But, like,
I'll
they're in
I'll
all
have
of
a
it.
friend over.
I'm not anywhere near done, Fascism Watch. I'm not anywhere near done. We got all your biometric. This is the bottom of the map. Biometric data, payment processors, identity rails. All of these move up through the cameras, through the AI, like, you know, facial recognition. Your age verification to get on social media is going to be there. Then we have schools, like all of your kids' educational data, like what they learn in school, what their grades are, any like maybe like reports that were written up about them, like behavioral ones.
I'm sure they're scraping all. They are scraping all this. Grok is in the fucking like.
Oh,
government
it's not even
matrix
scraping all of this. These all like.
It's just handed.
These all necessarily funnel up anyway into the same like general, like it funnels up to about here, or rather here, like no matter what on its own, and then from there they'll take it even further.
And you know what? Let me play a little devil's advocate here too. Positively devil's advocate with the win of Mamdani and what that signals and the blue wave that we just experienced, aside from Omar Feta in Minneapolis, that one I'm disappointed by. But it really goes to, this was, yes, an online campaign, you know, a lot of social media, as Andrew Cuomo criticized. He thinks Zoran just won because of social media, but it's not that. It's the guy was on the street talking to people. And that is something they still cannot fully
fucking Zoran Mamdani needs to go the fuck to sleep. 7 a.m. The day after he won, he's out there making a video. Go to sleep, my guy.
I know.
You won.
But but just his going out and meeting people, touching grass is something that, they can surveil it because they got satellites and there's camera on every building around it, but they cannot account for that people power. They cannot account.
They kind of can. Not yet, but they theoretically should be able to soon. Because, again, all of this data goes to the same places. Then you got your payment processors again, but this time in relation to your DNS hosts, Namecheap, ICANN, GoDaddy, your domain hosts, Cloudflare, Takami, Fastly, AWS, CloudFront, Azure. This is not even like a full list. Like I'm missing quite a lot here. You got your app stores.
This is only a list of
2.75 hours.
Places where they're gathering data about you.
Yes, well, where they're pulling it from, basically. Okay. Law enforcement, body-worn tech, so Axon and Motorola WatchGuard. Again, like they're the companies that build this tech and also, like, responsible for holding on to it. Thank you, Fascism Watch. We got your records, like through all of these, Relativity, Tyler Odyssey, Safety, like Courts, Motorola Solutions. Then you got Palantir Gotham, who is the one who's responsible. Palantir's Gotham.
I hate that they named it that. I hate that those fucking nerds.
It's because
named it after Lord of the Rings and Batman.
Their Batman one is specifically to keep track on you. The Lord of the Rings one is to keep track on everybody. This is for you. Then we get to the border and immigration side of things, and this is where it starts to get bigger. All of these agencies all give their data up the line. Palantir, ICM, Anduril's Sentry/Borders, Cellbrite, and Parabon. These are all like big military stuff. Like Anduril is making autonomous weapons for Ukraine and for Israel.
How do those so autonomous weapons? When you say that, like, how does that work?
Pretty easily. In fact, like right now, primarily the ones in Ukraine are being used to.
It's like a drone tank that someone's controlling with a controller somewhere else, just like it goes on its own?
Bit of both. So there's ones with controllers. They're currently like used to like lay mines. They're used to evac like wounded soldiers off the front lines. Okay. Maybe even like bring like gear and stuff in through. We are mounting weapons on them as well. For example, we have the little robot dog that we've mounted a flamethrower on the back of that I've shown a few times.
Oh yeah.
Like that kind of stuff. Anduril also makes AI controlled like missiles. And
That's
like
good.
automatically AI piloted drones, and also AI controlled submarines all fall under like Anduril's
And when you say
umbrella.
AI controlled, like they're given like you need to here's your
They're
mission.
given instructions
and,
and they do their thing.
Okay.
Yeah. China has these too.
And they're
theirs are,
successful? They're not bumping into things and like blowing up by accident.
Not necessarily. Like I
You know,
recently,
the AI
I've
that
seen-
we see, is ChatGPT and whatnot, it gets it wrong.
That's a
lot
whole
of
other level of. That's an LLM. This isn't LLMs. This is a whole other thing. I recently watched one of the water versions, like their boat drones and submarine drones they have. I've seen them being used by Ukraine to hit like Russian ports in the Black Sea, for example. They're fairly good at their job. They've been in use for a little while. Yeah, this isn't the spooky part, really. The spooky part of AI is when we get a bit further up. And then we have the international aspect. Australia, the UK, Europe, Japan, the like Arab countries in like the Gulf all fall into this. Like they all give their data to us as well. And then we go to the national cloud data, minus like you could go into the health data, Palantir Foundry, Snowflake Government, Databricks, blah blah.
So Palantir has like tons of subdivisions.
Yes,
Gotham,
yes, they do.
Foundry. Okay.
And there was the other one was ICM. And
I didn't
so
know
then we get to the
BlackRock.
national cloud data. Here we have the CIA signing a 10-year contract for commercial cloud enterprises with AWS, so Amazon Web Servers, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud, Oracle Cloud, and IBM. They've got variants of this going down for like the different agencies, AWS Gov Cloud, Azure Government, Google Assured Workloads, Oracle Government Cloud, like these are more secure versions. All of these US agencies, plus more that I haven't included, all put their data into these clouds, which then combine with the clouds from the UK, from Europe, from Japan, from the Gulf, from Australia, and move up into our infrastructure section. So we got our insurance companies, or cyber insurance companies. We got the undersea cables, and who owns them? Companies like Google, Meta, Microsoft, blah, blah, blah. By the way, like these are also like on many levels. Like here is one, another chokehold section, like a throttle rather, is here. Like if any of, let's say, these DNS hosts go down or any of these domain hosts go down, that affects everything else.
Because like what we've seen in more recent years, AWS down, you know, trending
AWS
on
went down
Twitter.
last week.
Yeah, it went down last week, and a bunch of companies, like the government,
The
also
entire
has
East
to be like,
Coast of the US went down.
yeah, oops. You guys have to like wait for us to fix our data centers here. Now, here's a question: can the government, not this government, because this government doesn't, but our ideal government, or not ideal, or a better government, could a better government say to Amazon, hey, you know, we're doing some antitrust here and you're kind of a monopoly. How about this?
Easily.
We take
Easily.
over, like we absorb Amazon, like the website where you buy shit. And that's now the US Post Office. So you can go on, it's the same website. You go on USPS, it looks like Amazon, you buy whatever shit, and companies just run it through there. And we just nationalize that. Fuck you, it's ours.
Yes, we
need
could
it.
easily do that.
And we can nationalize the data centers too and be like, you know what, Amazon, you can basically be a streaming service for The Boys and Invincible and you know, Rings of Power and whatever. And that's your job now. Congratulations, you made so much money. You get to be a movie studio, and that's all you are. And we're going to take over the delivery service, and we're going to take over the cloud service.
Base.
And you can make, you know, movies and TV shows and video games.
We could easily do this.
Good,
Easily.
because that's been rattling around in my head.
The thing is,
For
you
years.
need a much better
I'm glad to
government.
know
For
that we can do
example, why you need a significantly better government.
Oh, of course.
I live in Australia. We actually won this time around. Like the party that I advocated to vote for won our election.
Congratulations,
we
down
did not
under.
vote for the fascists. We didn't vote for the MAGAs.
Great.
And we're still fucked utterly to the point where I had to go and develop a better. So we're banning social media for people under the age of 16 starting December of this year. Yes.
Well, how does that work? Like you can't have it on their phone?
It's technically it is the company's responsible. So like if you're like 15 and you're on Facebook, technically Meta's supposed to get a $50 million like fine, and you as the
it's a little box that says, "Are you 15 years old?"
Well, no, they want your ID. They want your government ID. The UK is doing this as well. Europe is moving towards it. America's also doing it. Like Twitch and YouTube are demanding it as well. So I went to an elected official here. Albanese, the blue Australian MAGA. Well, I mean, again, like the liberals here are the right, and the Labour government here is the left, and our Labour government is far better than the UK's Labour government. Okay. Like the UK's Labour government is the Liberal Party. Ours isn't. Now, it's not doing much better than, alternative. But essentially, part of this deal, like part of this bill, is these companies, initially actually it was better. They made it worse somehow. Now, don't have to provide any proof, like they don't have to provide any evidence for what they consider to be a underage account. They can just delete the account outright. Openly. They just delete it overall, and they just don't have to provide any proof of it. Meanwhile, like the $50 million fine is also now essentially just symbolism, because if they don't have to provide proof, they just have to do their best efforts, then there's no way to give them that fine. Right. But that data,
that's a drop in the bucket anyway.
Yes, but your ID data gets given to actually one of the ones on this list. Way down here. Oopsie. That's not the right screen. I don't know where that happened from. It's actually this one. It's going to an Israeli firm. Surprising nobody.
Yeah.
Actually, I did not write it on here. It's just like a bunch of numbers, and it's weird. I'm not gonna say it. But regardless, it goes to Israel. Yeah. And that data is very easy to hack. For example, Discord recently got hacked, and a whole bunch of users' data got leaked from Discord, including credit card information and government IDs. That data was ID verification data for age verification. That's the data that got leaked. So I had to go to an elected official and provide them with a plan. I said, you can do all of this, but smarter, better, optically more popular, and cheaper. And they don't want it. I followed up. They're just not answering. Instead of providing your actual government ID, you could go to the DMV or the post office, and you could have a randomly generated hash key that encodes your ID into it. We already have this tech. That's what's on your phone. That's what tells the App Store that you're not using a hacked version of an app, for example. Or take it a step further, make it PGP, where only half of it is ever publicly available. And to confirm it, I offered, I picked out current government contractors that make technology, current government contractors that are, ones that, it was AU10TIX, thank you. Ones that host data servers. I'm like, you could build this with Australian companies, make jobs for Australians, keep the data in Australia. I provided evidence of national security risks of the Russian government, the Iranians, the Chinese being able to use this to influence America because of how weak social media companies are. No, none of it. They don't care.
I am so glad you're on our side. You are so smart and collected all of these, the intricacies of it. You know how you are presenting. You are Jeff Goldblum in Independence Day, going, I know how to solve this problem. I just need to get it into the hands of people who are going to be able to do this stuff.
If only people would
unfortunately,
fucking listen to me.
we don't have Bill Pullman as a president right now.
Just make Zoran Mamdani the God Emperor of the world.
I mean,
and
for
just,
real.
he'll do it.
I was watching Amadeus earlier because I've never seen it before. It's one of my wife's favorite movies, and the Holy Roman Emperor is in this movie, and it just made me start thinking about like all these companies are just kings and lords and ladies.
Well, funny you should mention that.
They're floating around. They don't own land anymore. They own like your mind and just like stuff you need, like healthcare and fucking, electricity and whatever the fuck. And
funny
the internet.
You should mention, considering what I decided to call these.
Sovereign platform. I
called them countries.
We need you. We need you on our side, Visora.
Also, I could definitely see me being a fucking demon if I was on the other side. But it gets worse. It gets worse. This right here is our saving grace. Sorry, Taiwan. I hate to do this to you, but I actually do hope now that China does take Taiwan, because if we get cut off from Nvidia's chips, all of this comes crashing down.
I wanted to ask you about China, and I only got like 15 minutes or so left, so let me get this question.
Oh shit, do we?
No, I do. You can keep going as long. I don't know how long you go usually, but
we're supposed to talk about the boys.
I mean, we'll touch on it. We got time. I wanted to ask you about China. You said that China was ahead of us in a lot of ways when it came to Neuralink and whatnot. Xi Jinping. I don't know how, is he good in, like, is he Putin? Is he Trump? Is he one of these like lunatic fucks? Or is he like Mitt Romney, like bad, but like standard bad? This is how I think of politics.
I think of when I think of Xi Jinping, and I had to compare him to like an American. I'm gonna have to go back a little bit further. He's basically Kissinger.
Okay, not good.
He's not a good person at all, like by any means.
No, I mean,
but he is far smarter and more capable.
Right. Okay, that's what it seemed like to me. Because again, I could see the weakness in him when like South Park gets banned in China for making episodes comparing him to Winnie the Pooh or whatever, because he personally hates that. So he banned Winnie the Pooh from China, and it's like, yeah, you got that like boomer weak streak of like selfish ego and whatever, but you do seem more capable.
All I'm gonna say is at the parade they had this year for the anniversary of the end of World War II, the Chinese Victory Day parade, there was a hot mic moment that caught Xi Jinping, Vladimir Putin, and Kim Jong-un walking together, and the audio that got caught was them talking about potentially being able to live to 150 because of organ transplantation advancements. So, I
mean, again,
like around.
That warms my heart. That does warm my heart, because that makes me go, oh, they're dumb. They're dumb, and they think they can live forever. They won't.
They could live to 150 with potential biotech advancement.
Not yet.
Not yet, but like that's the thing, right? Like it's the same when we talk about the Neuralink stuff. The best case is not yet. The best case is not yet, but they're working on it. The worst case is we already have it.
I need you. This is going to tie all around.
I don't think we already
need you to watch. By the way. I need you to watch the House of Usher show, because that same thing, like the reason why the daughter is so like gung ho about getting the heart medical device to work is because the father really needs it, and
like Trump needs one.
It's right. Trump it's not going to work. Like it's not going to work for you because it's too new of a technology. You can't just like, okay, trials are done, put it in me, and then I'm going to live forever. No, you're not.
Well, yeah, no, obviously, of course, but like, if we're potentially doing illegal human experimentation on prisoners, why wouldn't they also be doing?
Yeah, I mean, my whole take on all this is like, this is the death throes of these boomers who want to get done what they want to get done. Like Xi Jinping wants Taiwan. Fucking Putin wants the USSR back, so he wants as many countries as he can take before he dies. Trump wants, everyone to suck his dick. Fucking Bibi Netanyahu wants one Israel where he got rid of the Palestinians.
Well, funny you mentioned
they want to do all this shit before they die, so that this is their legacy. And like, you're gonna die.
You mention all of these people that all have interests that tie together with one company and one person, Larry Ellison and Oracle, who is in the United States in charge of the Starlink project with OpenAI, and in China is the one who built their surveillance infrastructure. The Great Firewall wouldn't exist without good old Larry. He also built their COVID health tracking information database and all of that. Like all of these, and also Larry built underground data centers in Israel. Hell, we're building a ballroom that the money and the dimensions don't add up for a ballroom, but you know what they do add up for is a ballroom with a data center underneath it. That's what that adds up for. There's already a bunker under the East Wing. I could see, if I had the thought of potentially I might need to escape to my bunker under the East Wing of the White House, I'd like a data center to be connected to it.
I mean, Ellison's the dude who bought CBS, right? Or
yes.
CBS, yeah. And because he owns Skydance, and Skydance bought Paramount,
and they're also trying to buy CNN now.
And they're trying to, because Warner Brothers is selling itself for parts because Zaslav already dismantled it.
Yep, they also own TikTok
and TikTok. So it's the same guy buying TikTok.
It's the same
I thought
guy
it was like
who
his
owns
son or
all
something.
of the media now.
I thought it was
his son, but his son works for him.
Well, yeah, okay. No, I know. But
his son is the one that's
it's
in
like
charge
Trump
of
Jr. Like it's
He's in charge of Skydance, and Larry's in charge of Oracle.
Yeah, man.
But here's the scariest part. I really had to get this out because you need to know about this. So last bit here. Your energy bill, your water usage, all of that data all gets used into here as well. We've already seen people getting falsely rated by the police in like California because their electricity usage was too high that they thought that they may be like making drugs. It ended up being someone who had a medical device.
Wow.
Yes.
Interesting.
Really. But here we get to the orbital sensor fusion part. Now, the National Reconnaissance Organization has in 2016 a classified report that they published on the Sentient Project. Now, the Sentient Project is a satellite system. It is not sentient, it's named sentient, but it might as well be. It is autonomous, it makes decisions, it moves satellites around in space, it doesn't take orders from the ground, and it works in like all entirely on its own. It has 8 different pieces of it. It can move these 8 satellites around, and it can have them take pictures. That's just the declassified information, and that's from 2016, so 10 years ago.
Wow. Well, I have to share this with you.
Yeah, please do. Please do.
This immediately made me think of Brother Eye from DC Comics. Created in 2005 for Infinite Crisis. This is a satellite that Batman builds because he's all paranoid, and it's basically it came out in 2005, so it's about like the Patriot Act and all that fucking shit, but taken to a comic book level extension where Batman thinks he's doing good, and actually this thing starts getting a mind of its own and decides who's going to be a criminal and whatnot, and creates soldiers to go get them. Have you read this story? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I did. I know what it's about. I've seen video essays on it, but don't forget that Elon named Grok, not named Grok, but created Grok from inspiration from the AI that took over humanity at the end of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Oh, really? Oh my god.
Yeah, Buncor, we're talking about sentient, not Maxar or Sentry yet, but that's the next part, because sentient ties in with existing satellite infrastructure like Maxar, Planet Labs, Black Sky, Satellogic, Umbra, all of the flight radar, marine radar, all of these funnel up to sentient. So do the US's like existing satellites. So do our ally satellites in space, as well as like, you know, Booz Allen, analytic platforms, Anduril's Lattice, which is what runs all of these autonomous weapons. The Lattice OS functions like in space primarily as well. Like, yeah.
No, this is drones,
like it's hell. We're in cyberpunk.
Yeah, we're in fucking cyberpunk. We're in Fallout. Very much. I'm looking forward to season 2 of the Fallout TV show on Amazon.
Are you looking forward to the Fallout?
I am.
Not the show. I meant the real one. I'm looking forward to putting the end to all of our misery.
But yeah, I mean, it's
not too much.
You know, much like like I said, I finished Gen V today. I didn't even know the show was out until I was like looking on Amazon one day. I was like, oh, there was no promotion for this. And
don't you love how they named the goat Elon Musk?
Yeah, that was really funny.
Very fitting.
But it was all about, this season in particular was all about control and pushing people's minds to the back, like Get Out, and having someone else drive your body and control your body. Literal puppeting. And that show, it's a superpower. But here we're talking about, like, again, Jet, I think, was right earlier. They want to be able to, like, just put in a chip in your brain, and then you're a laborer now. We tell you to go labor, and that's what you do, and you have no choice because we're controlling you.
Absolutely. Speaking of Gen V, actually, it's quite a good tie-in to what we were talking about, like, with the Neuralink stuff, because guess what else happens in Gen V? Spoilers for... I don't care about, you know, spoilers. That's on you. Personally, I abide by spoilers make shows more enjoyable. But, like, in the first season of that show, we already know that, like, this school is doing illegal, like, human testing on students that have, like, mental health issues or are, you know, problem kids. They have Red River, which is in The Boys, outside of Gen V. The orphanage one, they do the same. What's the other facility that they use in The Boys?
Amira.
Yeah. Amira's the like adolescent facility in Gen V. There was the other one from like early on at season 2 of The Boys. Stormfront, the Nazi chick was.
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. But like,
you know, secrets of facilities.
We saw quite a lot in that show of illegal human experimentation. Hell, like Vaught's built on it. And the show writers keep talking about how the reality keeps
and, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg were at some parties where they heard people talking about, oh, I'm investing in this new technology. And, you know, they're Hollywood elites now, so they get to go to these parties and these Met Galas and whatnot, and just hear
Do you believe in every accusation as a confession?
I mean, not every, but most, especially when it comes from right-wingers.
So I want you now consider the accusations of the government putting chips into vaccines that might, you know, be used to mind control you and like we can't do that yet, as far as I'm aware. But they sure as hell will do it if they get the chance. Sure. If we have a breakthrough. That one in particular, I wouldn't be surprised, because if RFK comes out and goes, okay, I fixed it, I've made vaccines safe, I've got my friend Elon with me to assure you that vaccines are safe, we've got it all. Like, I am satisfied as the anti-vaccine guy that you can take these new pills or whatever. I would be highly suspicious. Yeah, dude, I was suspicious when Trump was like, "Oh, we're gonna get a COVID vaccine out quick," and I'm like, "I don't know." What was it? Project started saying like, "Oh no, this is legit. Like, it's good." Blah blah blah. It's like, okay. I can see it. I can see them wanting to do that specifically for the lulz, even.
Yes, I mean, again, they're such losers with so much money. That's the problem. They're fucking losers. They think they should just be worshipped and loved, and they're not, and they hate it. They hate that people look at them with disdain. So pathetic. And you know, you were posting about the Mar-a-Lago, you know, parties that they've been having. They are mad they have to pay young hot women to be there. they want those young hot women to show up begging to go to those parties.
Yep.
Not like laugh at them, behind their backs.
It's like the high schooler nerd throwing a party where he's like, free booze for everybody, like base
and it's
party.
my giant mansion with all this cool stuff, and everyone comes.
It's those people.
They came to your mansion party, but they don't like you, dude. They like
nobody gave a shit about you. I knew one of those kids. I went to one of those parties, and I remember everyone being at that party. Like I felt bad for the kid. There was people his parents were out of town. And I was like 16. Someone took a shit in his mother's plant pot. Like another person, it was wild. It's these same people. No, did you see today how they were doing the press conference on healthcare and the Novo Nordisk rep collapsed and then RFK bolts out of the fucking room?
I didn't see him run out. I saw the guy fell down though.
Oh, he bolted out of that room so fast. He's like, that guy needs a vaccine. Stat. Get me away from this man.
Now, who was that guy who fell?
It was a Novo Nordisk representative.
What the hell?
I have the clip, I believe.
Yeah, let's play this. Let's end this on a funny note for everybody.
Yeah, honestly.
My section, by the way, my section, because it's 11:30 here. I know.
Oh yeah, that is true. I will continue on for another half hour. For some reason, it's just not popping.
No, yeah, Visora is going to keep going.
This as the.
What time is it?
Yes, I have to switch to a different browser. It just wasn't opening up for some reason.
What time is it there?
It is 3 o'clock in the afternoon, actually. I gotta say, I love this space stream so much now because I used to start at 11:30, but daylight savings for both of us made it 2 hours later. So now it's actually the afternoon. I got to wash my hair before work today. So here is RFK running out as the man collapsed. Just instant, I'm out. Oh, wait, it's not on screen. Oopsie.
You okay? Gordon, you okay?
Oh, and he's down. And he's down. It's like Mitch McConnell when he went there. Yeah, oh my God. RFK just disappeared.
Just bolts. Trump just standing there, by the way, he could just not give a fuck.
I love that. I love to just look at these fucks behind me. I just
know
wanted
as
to be
well as
cool.
I do that my time zones are not fake. You've been to Australia, Buncor. Play it again. I missed it. Sure.
One more time.
Gordon, you okay?
How did he just still has the smile on his face?
Yeah.
You okay?
I'm
Also,
fine. I'm fine. It's like a super drunk person, kind of slumping over. I'm fine. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
They can breathe.
Anyone also catch the fact that Dr. Oz said this with just listen to what he says and look at Trump, by the way.
People can sleep again because they can breathe as when they go to bed. Folks whose knees don't hurt. People who don't have heart attacks, renal failure, dementia. All the things we know are associated with obesity and much more. This
just tying dementia and obesity together with
That's
this one right over here. By the way, again, I remember when Dr. Oz used to be a real doctor. This man operated on family members of mine before he started trying his hardest to look like Donald Trump. Because he painted his skin, he put on the suit, he's full grift. This man used to be a real doctor.
I mean, I believe you. I never trusted him because he was a TV doctor on Oprah.
Before that too. That was the start of the grift. He was a brain surgeon. Then he became a TV doctor.
Ben Carson did the same thing, and they're both getting their bags now.
Yeah, they're both getting their bags.
But Visora, thank you so much for having me on. I'm glad I was able to join and learn so much about the terrifying shit that's happening in our world. But we need you on our side. We need you on this space. I want to get Ole Emil Lurend to talk with you about prisons and carceral reform. I want to get you with Ben Dixon talking about AI and the good uses of technology and whatnot. So interesting, folks.
We don't talk about this kind of stuff anywhere near enough because it's scary, it's uncomfortable.
It's scary, and a lot of people don't know
that too, but we also have that fear that it's not proven. So am I gonna get to be fair,
am I gonna get called a conspiracy?
Might as well be proven. Yeah, they framed it so that everything is gonna be framed as a conspiracy theory for us because they made like it normalized to do that.
But
and
as
I
Sam
couldn't
Cedar
give
once
less of a
said,
fuck.
if Alex Jones didn't exist, the CIA would have created him.
Who's to say they didn't?
Who's to say they fucking didn't? Folks,
True.
that's it for me on this.
Good
Space
luck
this week.
trying to go to sleep tonight.
Yeah, I'm gonna need it. Thank you so much for that was a lot of fun.
I'll catch you next time. See ya.
Absolutely.
But guys, I feel like we could finish off with that graph of where all of our data from these cameras is leading up to. Finish off with, you know, the satellites that are constantly surveilling us, the corporations that you are already working for. Again, like, they have already enslaved you. They have all, like, there is no escape from this system on this planet, barring, like, the entire collapse of it. Again, maybe if we get lucky, NVIDIA collapses and handles it for us. You know, that would require with to coincide with like TSMC collapsing from like a Chinese invasion or something. But that's like the only shot. I constantly get pissed when I see those plate readers flashing at me, and you should be. I'm so scared to think. I think I need to read about it. Well, finding like information to read about it is also scary, because remember, everything it ties together, right? Like Google, Meta, Microsoft, Amazon. First of all, your operating system is spying on you. Are you on Windows 10, Windows 11? Everything you do is spied on. If you're on Windows 11, I mean, like, they're taking screenshots of your monitor every 10 seconds. If you're on Windows 10, every key you type is a key logger. All of that ends up in the same place. All of that ends up at Palantir, whose job it is to predict things, you know, predict crime before it might happen. Apple is squeaky clean. Don't think that they are. No, they're not. First of all, like private relays, Apple is increasingly cutting out the protections that you have, but also, like, it is illegal to produce any kind of chip in the United States for these that don't already have a backdoor. You could be on Linux. They're still spying on you because your Intel chip has a backdoor in it. Your AMD chip has a backdoor in it. I promise you are on a list, and if you ever look this up without some serious legwork, you're on a hell of a list. True. 100% true. Because all of that ties in with international, geopolitics. Beyond just, the war-fighting aspect, beyond just the national security aspect, this is one big world government of a model. Again, sovereign platforms here. The capital ideologues and the narrative are essentially the same across the board. Curtis Yarvin's Dark Enlightenment exists in the West just as it does in the East. Balaji Srinivasan, Network States, Exit Narratives, Peter Thiel, 100% tied into the whole shebang, including the parts with Elon Musk and Neuralink, and even the parts with Larry Ellison and Israel and China and Maxar, all of this ties in. Mark Andreessen, Ben Horowitz, Masayoshi Son, Reid Hoffman, the sovereign wealth funds of various different countries. Not to mention Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Reddit. Remember, right now, all of these social media sites are now under the eye of Israeli. I don't know if I want to call them a defense contractor or defense company or a cyber security company, Cyberwell, which uses AI to parse through social media posts on US-owned media platforms looking for what they consider is anti-Semitism, some of which is anti-Semitism, some of which is just anti-Zionism. You got your water, your power use, your cameras. You can't go anywhere in the country without being watched from start to finish. There's no hiding from it. You call an Uber, you paid for that Uber, that money's traced back to you. That Uber's license plate traces back to you. It's like every camera is integrated in here. I mean, like all of the flock cameras everywhere. InfoSec contractor. Thank you. That's a better way to put that. And all of that goes right back up to sentient. Again, like if we had 10 years between what they published about this satellite array of time for upgrades, and we know for a fact that like right now we already have space war battles using like lasers from satellite to satellite, what's to say that we haven't had more? I mean, it makes sense, right? Like this is one of the few times in history in which control of the world could be in a few like person's grasps. If the conditions allow it, someone will take advantage of it. I agree. Beyond that though, like we are actually going to witness two different cyberpunk futures, one in the East and one in the West. The West being far more cyberpunk, the East rather being far more cyberpunk, built around like control, like the neon lights, the mega cities, like look at China's nightlife, whereas the West being much more chaotic, more of like a dark, damp, broken night city vibe. And both of these tie to like the governing principles and ideologies of both sides of like the East and West divide following World War II. The East was far more damaged, and the West won. And so like there was that difference. Dune is a reasonable like comparison, though like again, like the computers don't exist in Dune. The West is going to be Mad Max, China's going to be cyberpunk, and in the UAE it's going to be Neo-Persia. Well, I think a better way to put it, I think at least the way I would phrase it is oh, have a good night reference frame, is the East has a more Orwellian model, whereas the West has a more Huxleyan model. The East wants to monitor everything that you do and say and, you know, control it and preempt it, whereas the West is more focused on getting you high on brain chemicals and BD porn in the cyberpunk language, so that you're all a bunch of gunks, that you're all addicts. It's the addiction for profit industry. Good luck trying to explain the space laser thing to, well, anyone? Yeah. That's true. Doesn't matter, though. Yeah, we are so close to Harkonnen that it feels almost intentional. Well, again, if I can gather anything from my analysis of the Neuralink stuff, it 100% is intentional. Because even in the best case scenario, this still looked horrific to me. Like even in the best case scenario, what's up, Salamander Sapien? Even if they hadn't been, you know, currently doing the illegal human experimentation, I firmly believe that they are. I don't know how you could read all of this as well as all of these sources, which I will drop a link for, and not come to the conclusion that that's exactly what they're doing. Like, I can't fathom how that could possibly be the case. Whether or not, like, they've succeeded, that's a whole other conversation. Again, like, this is cutting-edge technology. This is not easy, but also we have had brain-computer interfaces for quite a while. I just dropped the drive link to my sources. Now, that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about today, but you know, while we still have some time, I feel like I could jump into another topic that could relate, or we could stay on this and just take a look at, like, the creator who actually put me onto this topic, which I think is what we're gonna do, because I think that's a good idea. First off, like, shout out, I mean, better journalist than I am is the one who did the legwork here. Are you still thinking that the world can be split into 4 or 5 authoritarian nations, now just 2? No, I still think that it's... actually, to be fair, I don't even think it's going to be 4 or 5 authoritarian nations. I don't think that nations really get to exist more than just like on the surface. I think it's far more likely that we're going to primarily focus on like the idea of city-states type. But like at the very least, yeah, no, like we're not going to see only like two countries be the entirety of the world in the context of like actual nations. They get Night City, us poors get Haywood. Well, basically, yeah. Even just like today, we had OpenAI seeking confirmation from the United States government, the OpenAI CFO, actually, wanting a guarantee from the government saying that like they want financing for its massive investments in AI chips and data centers to be covered in case like it doesn't work out. Socialism for the rich, clearly, you know? It will be Larry Ellison, world-renowned gooner, and like 4 guys you never heard of, basically, yeah. So, fantastic journalist who actually did the legwork of putting all of this stuff together. This is part 1 of the actual story. Let's take a listen. If that's going to allow it. Remove other media screen. That would be why. Yeah, that would be why. Yeah.
Information tonight. So
Let's try that again.
I came across some jarring information tonight, and I have to tell someone about it. So I've been keeping tabs on Neuralink a lot lately, Elon Musk's brain chip company, because with all of the 1930 style propaganda coming from the White House as of late, I just have this really bad feeling that Elon Musk might be our Dr. Joseph Mengele. And here's why. So in July of 2025,
you know, minus the fact that he's not a doctor and also not doing any of the work, whereas Mengele did do most of the work. But, you know, regardless of that. Also, yeah, it is a bit of a shock doctrine issue. And I do support calling him world-renowned gooner.
this year, Elon Musk announced that Neuralink needs to go from 7 brain implants to about 1,000 implants by the end of 2026. Now, that's about 993 people over the course of, 15 months now, who would be willing to get an experimental brain surgery. That's like 60 some odd patients a month. And at the rate in which it took him to get 7 done, feels nearly impossible, if you ask me. Now, there are a couple things that have been bothering me, especially about these Neuralink sites, because they have approved through the FDA 2 sites in the United States. One, which is in Phoenix, Arizona, at the Barrow Neurological Institute, and the other, which is in Miami, Florida, which is at the University of Miami, which has a big neurological brain study program.
Dude is rushing. Why? Well, first of all, they don't really care about consequences, but 2, probably because like, the motive that I outlined that I think is the likeliest is that he made a deal with the Department of Defense. And BCIs are a military tech. Like, we're in a war footing. We're about to enter into a war with, at the very least, 1 country, let alone, like, possibly multiple ones. And, yeah. Has Neuralink done any implants on, like, actual people? Yeah, 13 of them. I outlined it all at the beginning of the stream, Salamander Sapien. It's really... really bad. They've done these surgeries on several, and likely outcome is we're currently doing these on ICE detainees. In Honolulu, specifically, would be my guess, because it's a little too easy for us to get, like, news articles when it's, like, in Florida. For example, like, the reason that we know about the 3 ICE detainees that had neurological symptoms that lined up with, like, the monkeys that were also Neuralink subjects in Florida's detention facility is because it's too close to the mainland. Like, all the way out in Hawaii, it's already geographically isolated. But beyond that, like, there's all of the other factors that I covered extensively. I'm also going to talk about this far more at length on my show, so don't forget to go and drop me a follow on YouTube and Twitch.
Both of those cities also have really, really large ICE detention centers very close by. Now, yes, in Miami, they have Alligator Alcatraz, but they also have Chrome Detention Facility, which is like their super large one where a lot of the intake usually goes through. From December of 2024 to February of 2025, there have been 3 deaths once a month at Chrome Detention Facility, and all of them had to do with neurological symptoms, like brain hemorrhages and seizures and vomiting and the like. Not unlike what a lot of the outcomes of the monkeys that Elon Musk used to operate on looked like. just for the record. Now, there's a different kind of pattern that's equally concerning in Phoenix, Arizona. So Neuralink operates, like I said, at the Barrow Neurological Institute, and then right nearby there are major ICE detention facilities, Eloy and Florence. Now, the amount of time spent in solitary confinement at these Arizona
Florence is actually in Colorado, technically, but yeah.
facilities went from 14 days in 2024, which had been...
That's not the cover-up. That's part of this. That's the point that we're making, Ewell Adams. Like, in fact, like when I mentioned the fact that the ICE detainees, the 125 that are allowed to be like housed in Honolulu Federal Detention Center, as they are being moved to Honolulu, their attorneys have reported clients being shuffled through 5 to 7 different facilities across multiple states. Buncor, who is a civil rights attorney in the chat, said that they have a client that was shuffled through 14 different facilities. So, you know.
In a pattern since like 2021 to 38 days in 2025 as the average. Like, that's a 271% increase. 38 days is more.
And that increase in, you know, keeping people in solitary lined up with the ramping up of Neuralink projects. Again, one of the ways that you can keep people from being able to report on like your illegal experimentation is by keeping people in solitary for so long that they have patchy timelines. If you don't know what time of day it is and how much time has passed, then you're gonna have a lot more trouble keeping track of, well, like, when did things happen? What order did they happen in?
Than a month with no witnesses, no oversight, no documentation of what's happening. And all of this just so happens to be going on and increasing right when Neuralink is also trying to desperately scale up their operations so they can stay competitive with other countries. So those patterns have been bothering me for quite some time now, right? Especially with the alligator Alcatraz now, like, missing hundreds of detainees that have no record, and like all of
Auschwitz, by the way, and I do think that it's several hundred, like it's almost 1,000. Yeah, a lot of these people have no documentation. They're not even showing up in facilities that they're being checked in. That's on purpose. But like, these are cases that there is documentation for, like the increase in Arizona, like immigrant detention centers seeing like increases in solitary confinements. Like that was reported by Axios on October 8th. The increased medical emergencies at Chrome as immigrant detention swells. That was August 29th of this year. Like, there's a reason that moving people off to, like, I don't know, a more distant area is useful for them in this case.
So I decided to dig a little deeper tonight, and I went to usaspending.gov, which is this website where you can search for all of the federal contracts that are made public. So you can search for anything related to, I don't know, the Department of Defense and neurosurgery, for instance. And that's when I noticed something kind of weird happening, because Honolulu kept coming up a lot.
Well, there is documentation that they're doing experimentation. I've already shown that. Like, we already have that documentation. We have them like requesting FDA access to be able to do human trials, getting rejected and then getting approved. Like, all of that is right here. Where is it? Go. FDA's initial rejection in 2022, citing the risk of the implant's lithium battery overheating or leaking into the skull, the possibility of tiny electrode wires migrating within the brain and causing damage, and the fact that, admittedly, like Neuralink's self-admitted inability to remove the actual device from the brain without brain damage. Then leading to, in May 2023, under the Biden administration, the FDA approving Neuralink for human trials, even though the FDA gave no public detailed explanation as to what changed, and Neuralink didn't publish any new safety data or announce any major highlights. And then you saw, like, when they started doing, like, the human trials, their first human test subject already had an issue. Like, their implant fell off. And they fixed it with a software fix rather than a hardware fix because they didn't know how to. Arbaugh's, 85% of the electrode threads in Arbaugh's implant detached from the target brain tissue soon after surgery. The hardware issue remained unresolved. The Neuralink was fixed by software amplifying signals to the remaining threads. And then they continued going. Now this is in several countries. As Putin's plan through Trump to destroy the USA power, reputation, also money reserves, also Xi's plan. But, like, yeah. Again, like, we have the 3 detention, like the 3 deaths at the Chrome detention facility. involving neurological crisis symptoms like seizures and brain hemorrhages, including in the 44-year-old Ukrainian asylum seeker who had no prior health issues and then died 16 days after arriving at this facility of a brain hemorrhage. That kind of aligns with, the reports of what happened to the monkeys in 2022, suffering infections from implants and mutilating themselves from distress, uncontrollable vomiting, seizures, and culminating in euthanasia and death. Had a 65% mortality rating for the monkeys. So, like, yeah, that's already what we know. Again, like, the increase in solitary confinement relating to right around when Neuralink starts ramping up production, right after Todd Lyons talks about how he worked frequently with Doge, this being like a representative I showed earlier going to the Eloy Detention Center, talking about like a constituent there. The fact that like all of this also included Doge getting rid of 20 FDA employees, including staff reviewing specifically the Neuralink brain device trial, or the USDA inspector who said that the getting rid of these scientists who had no prior performance issues, who were then also rehired and then fired again successively, was suggestive of insider activity to disable alarms for a covert operation, who also later was fired. On January 27th, 17 inspectors general across agencies, including Phyllis Fong at the USDA, who refused to halt Neuralink probe to the point where she had to get dragged out of the building by security. She had to get dragged out by security. I could see why, knowing that. Again, then you look at the fact that like Neuralink says it's making a medical device for disabled people, but then you look at how they publish like the actual trials. Neuralink's public demonstrations always highlighting speed and performance metrics typical of gaming combat. Test subjects or monkeys historically play video games like Pong or Call of Duty like shooting games, moving cursors, clicking targets at high speeds, prioritizing improvements like reaction time and accuracy. This is a $10 billion industry currently, as of 2020. It's expected to be a $26 billion industry next year. We already have existing like brain-computer interfaces. Like, this is not new technology. Again, 1998 was the first time we had someone implant a chip in their head that let them combine like circuitry and brains. In 2013, under the Obama administration, we launched the Brain Initiative, gave them $6 billion in funding through DARPA. We already label BCIs as dual-use tech requiring export controls because the Chinese Brain Project under military-civil fusion ensures that any civilian BCI advances can be militarized. So, like, yeah, that's what it is. Like, we've already had this kind of stuff. I mean, if you combine the moving of detainees from prisons on the mainland to Hawaii, that is place and power intersecting, weaker media scrutiny, remoteness, like the shell company connection, because the way that they're actually moving people is essentially human trafficking. It's a shell game. It's also how intelligence operatives would do that. All of this lines up pretty perfectly with a means to secretly conduct high-risk medical experiments on detainees who, if they later complain, have patchy timelines and low credibility, like a virtue of their custody status. Is it nuclear fusion how mountains are made? I don't know. Why are you guys talking about nuclear fusion right now? Like, if Neuralink devices or related procedures were administered, an individual kept in prolonged isolation would find it hard to pinpoint when something happened due to sensory deprivation and time distortion, and would have no one to report these systems to. And again, like, the deaths line up, the timeline lines up, the deregulation lines up, the testing plan lines up. The fact that, like, co-founders have left Neuralink citing exactly this, like, you know, Dr. Benjamin Rappaport, Neuralink's at the time only neurosurgeon and co-founder, quitting because of safety concerns with their approach, then starting his own company immediately following, saying, I'm making a safer, less invasive version. 5 to 8 of the founders leaving. The president and another co-founder then the next year in 21 leaving with top engineers, citing principled refusals to continue with what Neuralink was doing due to unethical safety disputes. Not to mention the fact that Elon Musk literally said he would go to jail if Kamala Harris won. These investigations were ongoing. What happened when the FDA got purged? When HHS got purged? Well, investigations into Neuralink by the SEC died. The FDA died. The animal welfare probe died. Again, like, this is not evil tech. Like, BCIs don't necessarily have to be a weapon. It's just we're building them as a weapon. That's the issue. And not to mention, like, the fact that, like, every single patient that has received these, the 13 that have Neuralink now, out of the 1,000 that Elon Musk has said he wants by the end of 2026, are all really weird. I mean, like, make their own Twitter account and then post, like, pro-X, pro-SpaceX, pro-XAI, like, messaging on those safety disputes. Not to mention the fact that Elon Musk literally said he would go to jail if Kamala Harris won. These investigations were ongoing. What happened when the FDA got purged? When HHS got purged? Well, investigations into Neuralink by the SEC died. The FDA died. The animal welfare probe died. Again, like, this is not evil tech. Like, BCIs don't necessarily have to be a weapon. It's just we're building them as a weapon. That's the issue. And not to mention, like, the fact that, like, every single patient that has received these, the 13 that have Neuralink now, out of the 1,000 that Elon Musk has said he wants by the end of 2026, are all really weird. I mean, like, make their own Twitter account and then post, like, pro-X, pro-SpaceX, pro-XAI, like, messaging on those accounts, pro-Neuralink stuff on those accounts regularly, where, like, the guy, their initial test patient who had the problems had any prior, like, socials posts deleted, cleansing any, like, tie-in directly to the public with what happened. The fact that, like, I mean, like, again, we don't know where that technology's at. We don't know if we could genuinely, like, go in there. Like, can we move you around? Can we puppet you? But if you tie that to the research that's being done in Germany into cybernetically enhancing and engineering drone robot swarms, and you tie that with the same type of, like, it's all the same thing. It's all around the world. It's the same technology developed across the board. Anyway, guys, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Definitely go and check out me on YouTube, Twitch, follow my socials, join the Discord if you haven't already, and I will be covering this much more at length on, like, my proper stream on, like, Twitch and YouTube, because they're far longer streams. Thank you to this space for hosting. You guys are awesome. I fucking love it here. I genuinely could not imagine not having this space, because, like, ever since I've come on here as a host, I've just become much more happy with my job. To be honest, it doesn't matter, stuff like this, like, guy with a gun, fuck off, silencer, shows up and says, post it. I mean, yeah, theoretically, guy with the silencer shows up and says, don't post it. Beyond that, I will see you all next time. Have a lovely evening, everybody.